usually wear glasses, but since I'm doing a video about books, I feel no need to look more smart. So I don't need to wear glasses. And this is my debt. If you're like pursuing a literary degree and you have a YouTube channel, you have to at least make 2 videos a year about some type of literary thing, no matter if you're like a slime YouTuber or anything like that. That's something that you just have to do. So let's get into my favorite books. Okay, let's not do Stephen King's 11/22/1963. This is historical fiction. This is one of my favorite books, and I realized that historical fiction is a genre that I really like. So our main character finds a way to time travel in this little diner. The owner of this diner is dying that the main character frequents, and basically the owner is like, hey, I got a little secret for you. This is how I've been getting cheap meat, but I need you to do something for me. So he's like, I need you to save JFK. I need you to do this and this and that. I'm about to die. I can't do this. This is taking life from me, but I need you to do this. So the main character of the story travels back to 1963, more specifically 11/22/1963, the day that JFK was assassinated, and saves JFK. Trouble obviously ensues because as every fucking time travel thing, you don't go back and change shit. It has irrevocable damages. It messes with the time strings and everything. But it's one of the longest books I've read. I personally don't like long books. I just think that some long books are kind of can be redundant and kind of go on for too long in certain areas, but I feel like this book was not that. I think it was around 800 pages and it filled it perfectly, and I have no problem with it. No problem with the page amount. It's great. It's one of the only books that I've read that I was like, yes, that's good. That needed all the pages. There's a love story in it, and what I love in media is a love story as the subplot and not the main plot, and it's just so nicely done. It's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking. It's fun. Well, is it fun? I think that it is an incredible feat to be able to captivate a reader for 800 pages, do it well, and you know, I'm kind of bitchy about this shit. I always complain about that because I think things do need to be long, and often I'm watching a movie and I'm like, this should have been longer. This could have went on a little bit more. And then I watch a long movie and I'm like, you could have cut that and cut that. So I think it's cool when you can find the sweet middle and make something like that, and Stephen King definitely did that. And I just really adore this book, and I recommend it to anybody, everybody. It's just a good fucking book. You want to get into like historical fiction, really good book. I really loved it. I don't know how people feel about it. I don't know what people's negative reviews. I always read the negative reviews after I read like a book that I really love, because I think that's interesting. I go straight to the negative reviews because I'm like, what could you hate about this book that I love so much? Okay, next book, Toni Morrison's Beloved. I read this like so many other people in high school. It's one of my favorite books because it confuses the fuck out of me. I love it. Toni Morrison's Beloved centers on a woman who was prior enslaved, who now lives in Cincinnati. This takes place around 1873, I believe. So Sethe, when she was a slave, made the ultimate decision, a terrifying decision, to kill a child, kill her child. Years later, when she's no longer enslaved and she's living in Cincinnati, this child comes back. And after everything I say, I have to say chaos ensues, because chaos really it really does ensue. Like, one thing about chaos, it will ensue. Obviously, fucking Toni Morrison is a genius woman. There's not much more I could say. Read the fucking book. It's one of the greatest books ever. I think one of the greatest books ever written. This list isn't ranked, but if it was ranked, it wouldn't be number 4, 5, or 3. Octavia Butler's Kindred. Sadly, but 2 of my favorite books are about enslaved people. But guess what? But it's important. I find it interesting when people can incorporate like fiction into that time. So I guess that's also a love of mine, weirdly. Wait, 3 of these books are historical fiction. So basically the main character time travels back to fucking antebellum, I believe the antebellum South. So she goes back in time and she's like, I'm realizing I'm having to save this little white boy's life over and over again. This little boy's a fucking dickhead. So is his fucking father. Whole family is a bunch of cunts. A whole bag of cunts. Why the fuck am I here? Why am I going back to slave days? What's happening to me? Why am I here? And she has to figure that out. And there's this also another dynamic. She has like a white boyfriend. And like, the white boyfriend ends up going back with her in time. One thing about Chaos It Will Ensue. It's, the dynamics are excellent. It's interesting. You're like, what the fuck? And you don't want to stop reading it. Like, you just, the thing with Kindred, I believe I read it in like 2 days. Like, you don't want to stop. It's a good fucking book. It's accessible, but well written, and you just, and it's a fucking page turner. Like, it's one of the best books I've ever read, on account of just like, I have to put a book up there that's just like, I read it very quick and it's well written and I like think about it a lot and could talk about it a lot, and that is this book. And like I said, beautifully written. I think it's my favorite Butler. I read Parable of the Sower. Not a big fan of dystopian, like, not, I actually would go as far as to say I hate dystopian kind of, like, I don't like The Road. I don't like anything very dystopian, which, I don't know, that's just my cup of tea. I guess it's like not my cup of tea. It's actually not my cup of tea at all. And then Shakespeare's Macbeth. I love Shakespeare's Macbeth. It is, Macbeth is about this king who is told by 3 witches, hey, you will be king, but you have to do this. This, and this. And this involves a lot of murder. So Macbeth is knocking out fucking bloodlines. He's killing. And eventually it catches up to him. And there's this one really, one of my favorite things. First of all, the imagery, there's good blood imagery. Like, there's this scene in Macbeth where he's wiping off his hands and the blood just doesn't come off. And I fucking love that imagery. It's something that stays with me. Just like, the blood is still there. Like, the blood will always be on your hands. No matter what you do, no matter how you fight it, no matter what you fucking scrub with, the blood will always be on your hands. I fuck with Lady Macbeth. I have an idea for something. Like, I think Lady Macbeth is such a fucking interesting character, and I would love to see a modernized version of it, of Lady Macbeth. I'm not for like adaptations or like none of the like remakings of shit, but yeah, I find her character very interesting, and I fucking love Lady Macbeth. But there's a prophecy in the beginning, and it wraps around to the end, and it just ties it together so nicely, and was one of the best play book endings that I've ever read. And I usually hate the endings of books because I don't think people know what the fuck, I don't think most people know how to end books, and or maybe it's like I just don't like most book endings because I don't know. I just don't. I don't like it because I'm like, what the fuck? No, because some people end books suddenly, some people end books weirdly, some people end books on like some profound note. One of my favorite book endings is actually My Year of Rest and Relaxation. That book is like, people don't know if they like it or love it or hate it. A lot of people hate it, a lot of people love it. I love books like that. I love authors like that. But basically, one of my favorite book endings is she sees this person fall out the 9/11 towers. That's my favorite book ending. I think it's good to have a setting point. Like, I think it's good in your favorite novels to have kind of like a large monumental piece of literature that like wraps so far into everything in every era and every period we can look at and see like these ideas of Macbeth and coming back into contemporary and modern, and we can see ideas of Macbeth even though Macbeth isn't modern. Anyway, you get what I'm saying. And then my last, but I have some honorable mentions. My last is Nick Sheff's Tweak, Growing Up on Amphetamines. It's the story of Nick Sheff, like beautiful boy, but it's his story of things and just how he became addicted to amphetamines and other drugs. It's really interesting, but I related to the way he talked about mental illness and the way he just saying certain things about mental illness and how alien it can feel and how isolated you can feel with it. And it's a book that really, like, after reading it, I was like, this is really beautiful and it's gonna stay with me. So that's why it's one of my favorites, and I really like it. I like his writing. I like the revelation he had at the end, and I really liked his ending. So yeah, but watch Beautiful Boy. It's a good film. And then my mentions are Taylor Reed Jenkins' The Seven Husbands. It's not like classic literature, but it's like a good book, a good romance book that I read in a day. That's 400 pages. And it got me back into reading, so it's amazing. So I have to shout it out. It's great. And I'm thinking of Ending Things by Lane Reed. Really interesting psychological thriller. Well written. It's very well written. Very. Something that stayed in my mind. Very confusing. I love the book. It's very good. I would read a lot by Lane Reed. It's kind of like I don't know. It's not. It's like encroaching in on like one of my favorites. I think like it's probably like my 6th. I think they're not even honorable mentions. I think those are probably just my 6th and 7th favorite. There it is. That's it. Thank you.